Hello, friends. I'm Rocky Outcrop. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for waiting. GME is up. It is doing very, very, very well today. It's had highs of $255. One of the targets that we've been waiting for a very long time. Talking about how will we go in there when the prices were $145. Looking yesterday at the ORTEX data, which was very bearish and laughing about how almost all of them were negative. Actually, in fact, all of the actual advisors who had an opinion either way in terms of the analysts that they were doing on ORTEX for GME and AMC, all of them said that the prices were going to dump, all of them. Yet here we are looking at the prices up on both of those stocks today, roaring upwards. We're doing amazing over here, and we waited for this. I'm late today because black swan events happen in life. For me personally, right now, I'm very grateful to be healthy and feeling quite well. But unfortunately, my mother's brother is in hospital, and my mother has had to travel many, many hours today and yesterday to get to go to see him. These things happen, and normally, actually, I feel like it's me on the receiving end of it. So, always be aware of these things. Always be aware of that. Markets can move rapidly, and at those times, real life black swan events can happen in your own life. Thank you so much for waiting for me. Very, 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 very happy to have you all here with me today. It's always a pleasure to see you all, and I'm very, very, very grateful for all your positive messages. Thanks so much for joining me. Let's dive on into the charts and go back to, the place where we're most comfortable, and that is, of course, enjoying. Whoops, as we see, that's all a bit messed up, isn't it? Oops, that's also messed up. As we see, oh, that's not going to work for anybody. As we see these prices of things, we're going to be looking at a lot of different stuff today. I've got Humanigen up there behind me. That's going to be one of the ones that we look at. For example, it's there on the edge of filling in a huge gap. Can it do it? Well, it would be nice. Oh crap. Okay, where's all my stuff gone? Sorry about this, people. Nice desktop background, huh? I like my mountains. They're my rocky outcrops. Yeah, where's my browser gone? Why did that happen? Yeah, so Humanigen, for example, there it's on the edge. Where's that? Was that actually? That's Neg. New egg today. New egg. Looking, that one's pretty good. What's Humanigen's thing again? Which one is it? HG. Humanigen. Just type it in. HGEN, yeah. Is this going to push into the gap area today? One of the questions that's come through from people on Twitter to me. One of the questions that's come through on Twitter to me today about this one, talking about this. Interesting one indeed, as we see the 200 simple floating around about at the top end of that gap. Could we go up and fill it in? Well, it'd be crazy if we could. It'd be mental, but it's a big thing. It's an opportunity. It could happen. I'm not massively, going to be getting too excited about that, because as we say, it's always about what we do on the way up to gaps, as opposed to, and when we get to the gap. It's all about getting to the gap first, right? GME here. Wow, what fantastic price action today. Now, it has been up at highs of 255, like we were hoping to see at some point. We have now pulled back a wee bit. That is really, 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 really positive, strong price action. But there are a couple of things we really do need to be aware of. Now, I'm going to show you real quick. Got this other indicator on it from, I was chatting in Jamie's stream last night with Stefan S, and he was like, try out this one, so I'll try that out some other time. We've got this gap that's on the charts now. Is this a gap that we need to be concerned about or not? And just looking here at this is the 24-hour time frame. You can see that there is actually a gap here on the 24-hour time frame as well, and it's on all the time frames, just in that sense, like 4-hour time frame there. You can see 1-hour time frame, then we actually get to see it a bit bigger, etc. So there's a big gap on the charts. That's something to be aware of. Other things that we like to talk about, which are to be aware of, are where are we consolidating? Where are we going to do that? We've had a bit of a pullback so far, and I'm just dropping down the time frame so you can see this. We've had a bit of a pullback so far, and we've kind of launched off from certain places. One place to maybe take any sort of measurements from would be down here at this 191 area, you know, the last low just before we pumped up. We talk about this sort of thing all the time. So it's no surprise then to see me taking out this Fibonacci and drawing this in from those highs, from those lows to those highs, and saying, look, as if we are consolidating below 238, then maybe we are going to go in and fill in that gap. For those people out there who are like, you know, wanting to chase this thing and dive in at what is the top, then, you know, you might want to be careful and prudent in situations where we consolidate below this area. Now, of course, if we were consolidating above this, we could be having a slightly different conversation about this right here in the here and now about it all. Over here on AMC, you can see on the 15-minute time frame there's a flash down there at $34. We don't necessarily need to go in and fill that in, you know, right away or any of that sort of stuff. We have come up the way. What are the big concerns on this chart? Well, clearly this huge gap that's on the charts just below us, you know, coming from, because we started off the days above $40 and we obviously ended yesterday at $38, $39. So there's a gap there for us as well. And we came up, where did we go to? $44. $44 again. Is that much of a surprise, having had that as our target last time and talked about it then and talking about it now? And also it's where that resistance was before. Okay, so we've done amazing stuff. And then, as I've spoken about with people who asked me, shout out to Frank, for example, who asked me in YouTube comments, if you're watching now, give me a comment down below and let me know at the end of this video that you saw us chatting about it here, that I was saying, hey, you know, this is extremely bullish, but how will we know if people will actually diamond hand this thing? You know, how will we know if people actually hold on to this? Or or can we suspect that people would actually maybe be trading this at the key areas? And, well, it seems like the trading at key areas kind of truth remains, and that the markets continue to operate as markets always have done. In fact, on both of these stocks, okay, so while we in this audience have got very particular views on this, and while we obviously chat a lot about what is the very, very, very commonly spoken about larger conversation about these things, we're also able to recognize at the same time that for some reason, somehow, these things still have inflection points at the areas that we anticipate them having them at due to trading activity in the markets. That's still going on. That's still happening for us in the world. Anyway, we're very bullish, right? Simple stuff. Can we consolidate above the 236 and all that? When? Damn it. Sake. Is it on this screen that it didn't show up? It's because it's this screen. I've got it up on my chat screen. I should be able to get this to replay. I should be able to. Like, I'm gonna get this to work. Somebody put in something. Apple tip in here. Let's just see this one. Does it show up in front of my face? Yeah, it did. I got it to work. See, look here. Apple, thanks so much for that. That's amazing. And tell you what, look at this. Look at that. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Look at that one that came in. Anonymous, $420. Holy smokes. I would like to extend a massive, warm sense of gratitude towards that person. Very, very kind. Much love. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. All their other donations came in today as well. Amber, who sent in $10. I hope to get that to show up now. And Where's Waldo earlier on with a $3.95 super chat. To all of you, massive, massive, massive appreciation. To that $420, you're changing the world. From Anonymous. I'm blown away by that, and I really, 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 truly appreciate it. In fact, let's all pick up our moods a wee bit and be happy. Raise ourselves up, say thank you, Lord, and all that good stuff. And let's do some squats just now and feel good about everything, get our blood flowing and everything else. Thank you so much for that. That's energizing and fantastic. Really wonderful, generous, kind person. Let's do some squats real quick here. After we've done them, we'll go back, we'll dive into the charts, and we'll see what we can see. There's other stocks I want to look at that are performing well today as well, and curious things from around the world. We can check in on some of the things we talked about from other countries as well. How about we take a trip to the UK and see how Rolls-Royce are doing, a trip over to China and see how 3333 Evergrande is doing, and how about we jump on over to Japan and see how Japanese tobacco is getting on as well, before making our way back around to the United States and seeing how the likes of Metamaterials, Applied Materials, Ashford Hospitality Trust, Humanigen, Amgen, and other things are getting on. Do we want to look at biotech? Do we want to look at other stuff? Let me know in the chat in the comments. I'm going to do some squats. You're going to do them with me. We're going to do 5 squats, and then 6 squats. Okay, that's what we'll do today. We'll bump it up to 16 because we're feeling good about things and we want to celebrate. In fact, how about we celebrate? We'll celebrate by doing 6 squats, 6 squats, 6 squats. Okay, so that's a total of 18. I did have to work it out in my head for a split second there. Give me a hesitation. 18 squats. Yes, we're upping the number by 3 squats. Big time stuff here. You don't need to do all of them, of course you don't, but if you can, I encourage you to do so. And if you're just starting, don't be put off by the fact that we're able to do so many. I could hardly do any at all when I started. It would kill me to do 10, and it's just like learning technical analysis. You get a little bit better all the way along all the time. Let's do this. Let's do it together. 16 squats, 3 sets of 6 with a gap of 10 seconds between them. Do you want to do them as well? Jimmy just arrived shortly there before, so he's with us. Let's just do them together. Okay. We'll do 18.
What the heck?
I know, 6 and then 6 and then 6.
This is pretty funny. If you just turned up now for the first time.
I don't know, if you just turned up for the first time, that's 6. We're going to take a break for just a second. Were you coming back? Because we're doing another 12. Thank you so much, Amber. You're awesome. Awesome, Amber. Really awesome. Is that 6 or 5?
Oh, one more.
Right. 6 to go. It's not hard. We'll be done with this in 30 seconds. It's not a big deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Brilliant.
Hell.
Great. Fantastic. Woo! That was hard again, okay? That was hard. It's hard to do technical analysis. It's hard to do things in life that'll keep you healthy. It's hard for your mother to get on a train and travel for 4 hours to then wake up the next day and find out if she's having to go to another 6 hours traveling to get to see her brother in hospital. It's hard for people at times in life, but we can do it. And when we do it, we get stronger every single time. And well done to all of you. Okay. So, riv my background. We're flying over here. Hope you took part. Don't forget to hit like. My legs. I know, right? Gosh, it's so hard. Good job, guys. Thank you. Jamie, are you going away to sea? Says Chippy or Joe Maxwell.
Go to the moon just like you guys.
Go to the moon. Nice one. Squats with legends. Brilliant. Excellent. Thanks so much. Right. Great. So here we have it. Here's the charts. And both of these ones, it looks like to me, just off the, just to my eye, it looks like we're probably consolidating just below, if we actually are consolidating right now, just below the 236. Bringing this in here, we can see, yeah, AMC, when it's below $42, it's not got the ideal place for a bull flag or some such to be occurring at. It's not the ideal one. So, yeah. Woo-wee! Woo-wee! Oh my goodness, Amber. I saw you put in a donation. I didn't see how much it was. Throwing some of my profits your way, as I do not have them without the education you selflessly contribute every single day. Love and appreciate you truly from the bottom of my heart, Rocky. Amber, so lovely of you. $100 donation from Amber. Thank you so much. That's really appreciated. It's wonderful stuff. And we're changing the world here. Everybody, you're changing the world. You're changing the world all around you every single day. Every single day, every single one of you is making the world a better place. And thank you so much for showing us that support. That is amazing. Really is. I really, really appreciate that. Okay, Wonky Donkey sent $5. Please look at BKKT. I don't know what to think about it, so you can take a glance at it. Squats, keep sweating, says Brave DeLorean Buck. Thanks so much, buddy. Awesome, man. Cheers. Right, yeah, okay, like what's happening over there at BKKT? Right, okay, it's consolidating in a range here between these 2 points. Has been here. What was the question? I don't know what to think about it. Oh, well, what to think about it is that we've moved up a bunch. Let's actually look at it on the easier to see time frame, 4-hour time frame here. What you can think about it is that we've moved up a bunch. That at these points there's some bearish divergence. We could easily push on to get a third dose of it. An easy target would be for us would be simply to look to $60 roughly. We're currently at $37. At that point, I would then anticipate a move back down, probably perhaps towards $20. So it's those sorts of things, like in terms of where we could be going on a broader strokes basis. Really, we're here consolidating to the point that we're going so much sideways that there isn't really any sort of real impetus currently. That could obviously change. Right now, of course, we've had this happen in the past, and it's had to fill in these things already. Small time frames will show you probably several examples of flashes. These don't actually amount to anything. 2-minute time frame, we're seeing a few more. 3-minute time frame is not really a pretty good one for this sort of thing. And yeah, so we've done that. We've been consolidating in here. We're looking to wait and see, can we get across here of the moving averages and the small term time frames, drag them up towards the larger time frames and get the positive crosses on the go. Can we do all of that? And then when we get up towards the bigger time frames, will that actually prevent us from negatively crossing? We actually have enough, yeah. Will it prevent us? We had a golden crossover here at where that gap was. At some point in the future, we'll probably have a fairly, what feels like a fairly shocking decline in this thing. We could obviously go to visit $20, $25, something like that now, but I'd be looking to see if we actually push down underneath 33 before trying to take a position on that, consolidating, like I say, within that range over there at the minute. I mean, that's what's happening on it. That's without looking at oscillators or anything like that. That's just telling you what's going on. Right, so moving on. AHT, let's start off with looking at Ashford Hospitality Trust. Good day for this one so far, sat there at 15.28. That's nice, it's what we want to see. Naturally, what we can tell immediately looking at this chart, just in terms of when you come back to look at a chart you've looked at in the past, it's so obvious to see that this Fibonacci here is obviously not at the correct place because we currently put in what is a higher high. So just straight off the bat, that needs to be moved up the way, so we can do that just to keep things correct and clean on the charts. We don't really need those arrows that I put on for explanations of things. Just try and get rid of that as well. So we're doing all right at the moment. Now, if we were to say, for instance, close here right now and make an assessment of this, then what would that result in on the RSI? Well, it would be a bit bearishly divergent. So you would kind of hope to see this actually push on a little bit further and to continue this momentum, this bullishness, dropping down to the 15-minute. Actually, let's do it on the 5-minute time frame and stretching out the charts here, making it big. You can see that today we've had the momentum traders on our side, clarifying everything we've spoken about before in terms of movements and where you'd be consolidating at, etc., just to show people that indeed within this section here you've got the 236, which of course is where we've been consolidating at on this one today, following on from the rise. So you start off your day with a big candles, and then we need to breathe back. That's like then we need to breathe out at this point. And where does that exhalation take us down to? Where does that actually take us down to? And where this happened was we'll bang on to the 236 like they actually planned it. And when things move like that, then you're feeling pretty good about things. We're seeing this pushing on a little bit higher still, and that's the conversation we're having with this one. Good job, AHT. Keep it up. Let's keep our eye out for when this idea, this philosophy stops working. It's running today. Why? Because it's been primed to do so for quite a while. Shout out to Bad Mama Jama. Hopefully then, of course, while I'm saying that, just before I move off the screen, if this immediately clicks back down again, this thing I'm saying that about running on, etc. It's done that. It's put in a tiny little bit of a high. Am I just moving the thing? Damn it! It's put in a bit of a high here. And we have discussed about how that would be bearishly divergent if we pull back from here. So we really don't want, we would prefer to see this not be a local high from this exact point. And the momentum is with us. So let's seek that continuation. It's obviously gets little inflections along the way. That's what we're looking at there. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go to Evergrande. Evergrande. Now, this is, of course, something that maybe I'm the only one who's bullish on in the entire world. Okay, fair enough. Whatever. That's fine. I've got the luxury of being bullish on this from having been bullish on this since down here somewhere, roughly. So, it's easy for me, full disclosure. So having, bought the bottom on it, it's easy for me, right? So I'm not encouraging people to necessarily, I'm not a financial advisor, and none of this is any of that sort of shit. But what you can see is that we've had some decent price action since. Okay, we put in a high, a higher low. This is could have been, maybe would have been a lower high. But along the way here, we've had just organic-ish. I say as if it's not really fair for me to say that the markets in China are any less organic than the markets anywhere else. It's just we've seen typical price movement. It's good. I like sometimes you get stocks like this which operate in a maybe slightly less complicated way almost. It's kind of just sticking to the rules of technical analysis. Thanks so much. This is one of these things then that makes you think, like, why does the world not see it as well? Well, it's because the world's not looking. Because the world gets distracted by stories. Of course, like we're hoping for this to turn around here. It's still very, very highly dangerous for so many reasons. We've got this flash here. What? It's the bloody thing, sorry, on the wrong screen. It's the wrong screen. I just need to go back to this. Hold on a second. Alert name and thingy. Copy that thing. Stick it here, so that's on. And then go back to link to donate. Was that you that said that, Jimmy? Link to donate. Awesome. Link to donate. 4:30. Nice one. Is in the description. The link to donate is in the description. Thanks so much. I just put that up there, so it's working now. Cheers for the heads up about that. Yeah. There's also this crazy page. What's that for? I don't know. Then there's great. Yeah. So last night, what happened with this one? Well, it pushed up a wee bit, right? Okay, cool. What I want to see happen is for it to take out this high. Then, of course, it can reach this sort of trend in action. We have to be very much aware of how, of course, this is this downward sloping line, and that we're just pushing outside of it just now. If you were to draw on a resistance line up above, obviously, right? I think I was going to look at HGEN. I didn't really look at it in any sort of real detail. On these two highs, how are we doing? Well, yes, bearishly divergent. We do have this area down below of 728. So I would be managing risk on any assumptions that anybody might be making with regards to this thing filling in that gap with very tight. If you're trading it from here, the reason for which being simply, of course, like I'm saying, that any pullback from this area to give us that taste of a second bite of the cherry, then for any move beyond this could very easily go back down to that 720-ish point there. Now that happens to be in the 5-minute time frame. There's probably different areas to look to. Just quickly checking a couple of things out here. Yeah, the 3-minute time frame, always a giver as well down there at 7:30. Few different places that you could measure it from. Let's take it from the last time that we had one of these zones over here, where we had that at 619 low up to the highs most recently, and you could say, well, if we were to take out 763, and you can see the prices are 814, so you're looking for a 10% movement, a 5% movement, just to be able to start kind of managing your risk appropriately. There you go. You've got 5% though to give up on this thing, and if it drops on down, well, then you're looking for that 10%. But so like if it depends on how you're trading it. But doing well, and the idea then is, suppose, from a couple of different sort of points of view of how could this work. Is this some sort of cup? Is it a cup? No, cups and that don't work like that, because of course cups are continuation patterns, and if this was to continue, it'd be continuing down the way. So obviously this is looking for a reversal. Could you have elements of head and shoulder in here with a really massive neckline that carries you the whole way up? I mean, yeah, kind of. It's weird though, isn't it? It's not very good. It's not very good. But you could say sort of shoulder, head, shoulder. Let me just kind of then bring up the volume to see. So the volume throughout this period was dropping throughout it, kind of rising up on the right shoulder, kind of not that great. But anyway, the movement there is sort of $3 up towards the top there. It's not enough. It would take us into the gap. So, pattern wise, etc., not that amazing. You could look at this and sort of for trying to find some sort of I don't know, maybe something like a like a shark or something like that, but I'm not looking for any of those sorts of things either on it at the minute. Instead, just simply looking to see if this is good enough. 4 hour time frame in here, 4 hour time frame, hiding the drawings, looking at the lows, being aware of the bullish divergence, very good. Come back up towards our high, very good, very strong. It's here, it's pushing up past the blue line on the DMI that I've got, like, you know, the way that I would use it, and it could then therefore be going up towards one of these higher areas. The 50 point is really quite rare. That actually is the area. Not rare, it's less, you know, when you push up past this, you can very easily go, no, it's not less, it's like, it's unfair to say that these things progressively get, you know, less likely. It's kind of like, it just is likely either between either of these almost at a certain point when you push past this. So that would carry us up easily as well. So we're in position to do it, you know, but obviously we would be, obviously, I mean, that's kind of, that's the obvious aspect of it. The less obvious aspects of it are like how you would manage your risk if you were to see some pullback, where your targets would be for maybe where you would still get a very bullish run up the way. What sort of pullbacks would you need to see then? And the way that you would look at this would be quite easily to say, well, if this was a move up to a high, then we had a pullback, it came down to the 50% area. So if you, for instance, did the same sort of thing and you were just kind of thinking, well, if that's our low there and we got up to a high, and the 50% area is in here at 707, and what were we talking about, 730 with that flash fill? So, like, you know, it's that type of thing. But obviously we're positioned very, very well. I mean, I'm not going to talk about my own positions on these things, actually, to tell you what, but like, interestingly enough, we could see something happen here, and if we see something happen, then great. Otherwise, like I said, managing it tightly is not a problem for me. Right. What else was there? Oh, we might as well check out BBBY after that yesterday's big jump up. What's that looking like at the minute right now? So, you know, big pullback today. Taking profits on that big jump up should have been said specifically to do that. We come back down, testing into this previous gap area. It's a gap over a gap. Okay, so this is risky stuff. Should have really talked about this more for everybody at the time when it came up on Twitter. This here is fantastic and has cost a lot of people a lot of harm that were shorting against it, and it's happened over this gap here. So we need to be aware of the fact that this is still very much on the charts, is this gap right here, and obviously so far we're working our way down towards it. What do we want to see for this to be this or hereabouts to be the end of this thing, and for us to form some sort of island? Now we could push up and then come back again and retest this, and then go on for bigger moves up the way, something like that. That's quite possible. So could we possibly form some sort of island? Yes, we could. Could we also get a kind of runaway breakaway gap? Well, we don't have that immediate follow through momentum to carry us up the way, and that's not that much of a surprise when you consider that just the other day there, and up to where we are now, it's gone up nearly 100%. So that's not much of a surprise on that one. TradeSpawn just tipped me again. Wow, thanks so much. I did tune in. I did show up as well. Thanks for choosing to tune in with Rocky. We appreciate you all so much. We do. We really, truly do. Massively appreciate you. Thank you all for being here with me today. So it's fantastic. So those are the sorts of things that you could see happening, right? I'm concerned about the fact that there's this gap here. I want it to turn into an island on the charts. There's this huge push up on the DMI. You know, I was talking about just a second ago on the other chart, how so often it doesn't end at 50 and it kind of can push on up higher. When do you ever see it really much higher than 60? It's very, very, very rare. I didn't even bother to draw in the 60 and the 70 onto the sorry, they didn't even bother to draw 70 onto the charts, given how kind of rare it is to see it up above 60. That's where I made the red line. So I think that kind of speaks for itself in that sense. Stochastics ticking over gives you that feeling like, you know, of course, all it takes is for continued momentum to get us to pull towards the downside even further. And from where we are to where we, you know, where we've come to, if we did take out the 382 at $20 being a fairly round number in and of itself, I think the idea of going down to 17 to fill in that gap is completely and absolutely reasonable. And then you'd be anticipating that. So if you were to manage your risk, then you could do it there. You'd be saving over 10%. And then a move towards the top side thereafter, I think, really kind of gets more initiated above $22. And now you've got that sense, right? If you've got $20 as a potential pivot, $22 is an area towards the top side, sort of $17, $18 is the one down below, then you're looking at this 10% chunks around the way, and that's the way the markets are looking at themselves. So just you look at them the same way and follow along accordingly. Let's go to Grand Britannia. What? I'll just keep GME up all the time for the crack. All right, cool. Let's do that. It is harder to do the TA. That's all good. I can have it up here in the up behind me, all black and terrifying. Where is this? This is the AMC chart. Let me just actually. Why can I not see the prices currently? There we have them. Oh, look at that. So AMC right now, is that head and shoulders at the top? Well, you know, you name it. Here's the neckline. It doesn't really matter about whether or not you want to call it that. The idea is basically that we have this pivot area in here around about the sort of $41 area. I think that's fairly clear anyway. It seems that there's these lines from some past chart that's lining up with that. That's the 1 minute time frame, is it? That's the 1 minute time frame. So anyway, if we were to actually jump down the way, then going down the extra couple of dollars to fill in that gap would be conceivable, and that would be and then a response from there, bullish way, would be very, very positive, and that's what we'd be hoping to see. Of course, our long-term plan on this one is for us to be moving up towards the target of whatever that is, like $67 and $87 are our first two targets on this one. So we've got bullish reasons to be looking bullish. The first real big pivot point for us and step, you know, towards the top side is $44. So we've had our eyes on $44 for quite a while, and that's why all this sort of this profit taking has occurred here, obviously, from people who are trading this all the time, because this is a highly traded stock, as you can see from, like, you know, the large volume relatively, you know, and whatever on this stock compared to its lifetime, and that people are trading it proactively all the time, every day. And that's just the reality of it. You know, there aren't 500 million shares being diamond handed on this one at all. It's just the reality of it. Over here on GME, seeing the same sort of sad reality. The fact of the matter is, right, that not every single person that's diamond handing this thing is that's the wrong chart, is truly diamond handing it, and that's okay. We're okay with that, right? We're okay with that. But just so that we know that when we were anticipating $250 for quite a while as being a big area, that of course, you know, that this was sold into by somebody. Now, it could of course be more synthetic shorts, and what we've talked about all along the way is the idea of the fisherman. I've drawn on the fisherman dude, so many times. So fisherman, here he is. He's standing there. He's got his hat on, right? He's got his fishing rod. Okay, here's a fishing rod. That's what that looks like. And then he's got his wee line going into the water, and then you've got these wee fish around that are in the water. Okay, and what are the fish? What are the fish? Well, the fish are quite simply things like this ORTEX. No, that's not it. Wait, ORTEX AMC. There, that one. Wanted to show you this. Don't know if it'll work or not. If it'll tell me. Yeah. You get the point. Is it still open here? You get the point, right? You get the point. So that's who we're fishing for. That's why I was talking about that yesterday, right? It's why I was talking about that yesterday. Good job, everybody. We did it. What type of fishing are you doing? I use nuclear bombs and car batteries when I go fishing, but I don't know. It's up to you. You do what you like. So mother. Oh wait, this is GME. And let's get rid of the drawings. We don't need John Fisherman up on the screen, really. And we'll auto that out the way there. So let's just also make it so that, there is actually some sort of there was a donation from Winky Wonky Donkey. Yeah, it said, please look at Bakkt. I don't know what to think about it. Then I looked at Bakkt and told them what to think about it. Spent 5 minutes on it. And it was, you know, great and everything, but I did that. It's a $5 one. Any of these other guys, yeah, it's like, it's great, it's all good. Right, sound. So I appreciate it massively. Is his real name? Serious? Wow, amazing. Thanks so much, Winky Winky Donkey, with your real name there. Sorry to dox you. Right. Yeah, look, great. Is this speaking for itself for you or not? Is it speaking for itself for you or not? Let me just zoom on in so that I can do some of the speaking. Advocate for it if you like. Speaker for the dead. Yeah, Orson Scott Card would love this technical analysis. There we go. Esoteric references for people who like Ender's Game. Right. So what does that make me then, eh? Right. Anyway, in here at it would make me Ender, I suppose. Oh well. Never really liked him much as a character, but I suppose it's a pretty powerful dude. What am I doing? Right, yeah, this is your 236. If we can get above this line, pretty good. This is the previous low. If we go down below this, what's it mean? It means we're making lower lows. If we get up above this line, then you know, at this point, having already gone up and closed higher than that, then what does this mean? That means that we've got a higher high, and is that right? I can't quite tell exactly. Is that 100% right? The anti-aliasing on this thing makes it, oh no, yeah, it's right. We got it's just never so slightly higher high there. That's handy. And then we pull back down the way. So what if we don't take this out? Then it means we have a higher low. And then if we do anything to get up to here, sorry, that's no good. If we did anything to get up to here, that'd be fine. Anything to go up there, that'd be fine. So that's what we're looking at. In the meantime, we can update that along the way as we go. Okay, so there's our picture. That's what we're looking at. I don't know, is that still clear enough for you? I need to zoom on in a bit more. Zoom on in a bit more. Right. You got your RSI just here, if you want to see it. You got your chart up above. We've got a white line showing us the way. It's over there on the auto buttons activated, so it should follow the chart around. Right, great. So now we've got half a screen over here to do everything else with. What was I looking at there? That was that one. So cool. Thanks so much, by the way. Yeah, we did look at BKKT. We've already looked at that. We've looked at GME. We've looked at AMC. We've looked at Evergrande. We've looked at. I didn't actually do much TA on Evergrande actually. So give me a second. I just kind of showed off. Which is no good. Here we have the 4-hour Evergrande chart with a rocky outcrop flash up above us at 13.95. There we go. That's good enough for the TA on that. At least there's something. BKKT was what the person was asking for. They were confused because it's consolidating at a high. Don't be too confused, pal. Here's one way of looking at things there. Look, above that, good, right? Sound, nice one. Could we go on for another one? Yes, we could. I even actually explained where the most likely 3 biggest targets are, including in it 70% drop and a 30% rise, something like that along the way. You do the math. No, wait, no. 80% rise and an 76% drop. I mean, I'm talking big moves in this thing that I was talking about. If we can get past smaller targets, which I think I also expressed by saying we're in this little range between sort of 39 and 33. I've already done it, right? And then there was other things I wanted to look at. So don't let me get too distracted from that because there's Amgen, right? So if Humanigen's doing well, then how's Amgen getting on? Very similar name stocks. Right, they've both got one of them's HG something whatever, and this one's AMGN. So like they've got not really at all similar, but they've got they're both medical stocks. They're both involved in COVID. No, not COVID. They're both medical stocks. This one here's got some proposed new treatment for some cancers. There's a flash on the charts up above. I've got a nice sort of feeling about us, the ability for us to get towards this. We have, of course, pushed back up a little bit. This has been a cruel, heartless lover. Can I actually change the spread of these two so that they've not taken up the same size? That'd be handy. Anyway, right? No, it's a heartless lover. This one doesn't give much warmth in that. Actually, no, very good. Right inside this channel here, enjoying the movements that we're seeing. I'll jump up to 24 time frame so you can see even more of this thing. Oh my goodness, it's been on for quite a while. So we've had a bounce recently of it. Yeah, don't say I didn't tell you because I mean, look at the feckin' charts there. I told you. So how are we getting on so far? We can easily measure this in from the top of the channel, right? The top of the channel there. But for eyesight point of view, I'm drawing it in from just, to the right there so you can see it. But that's the top of the channel. Down to the lower part where we just had the prices at. And then see here that we're above the 236. Wow, it's another Fibonacci day for Rocky Outcrop. Well, why not? We're seeing good movements in the markets. Where could we be aiming for? Well, somewhere between the 50% and the 618 would take us up towards that flash fill. So there's that. If we actually push past the flash fill, we can see that the 618 is actually there at a good probably 113. So here's something that's esoteric. I'm not going to bother explaining because it's new and being made by me, and I don't feel the need to explain it exactly. So instead, I'm just going to look at it and go, oh look, there's the 113, exactly where the 618 is. Ooh, so in this sense, if we were to get that, could we see follow through thereafter, even if we got a pullback to here and then thereafter? And where does it line up with? Oh, the right at the middle end of that parallel channel in the background. Oh my goodness. So anyway, there we have that one. If I was watching this long right now, knowing what I know, watching that TA, I'd be like, I could trade this thing. But funnily enough, I've already got a position in it, so I don't need to worry. Right. What was the other ones we want to take a look at? AMAT. Applied materials, right? Applied materials. This is where you get material and you put it on something. This is current prices. Oh, we recovered after that drop down. Fantastic. Haven't actually checked this out since. Let me move this around. Right, great. So, where were we? Did I see some? Did I need to check it? Whoa, what was that happened on the right on GME? What happened on the right on GME? There we go. Dropped down to 223. There we go. 223. Have we filled in that gap? No, we have not. At 222, 223, that's a big pivot in the markets. Here we have a lower low just now. So this here, I'm now reviewing the chart above my head, by the way, if you're not watching. This is the GME chart. Things have moved on. That's the Fibonacci retracement moved down here to the lowest point. Looking at the charts, we're saying, have we actually closed out lower? Let's just zoom on in and take a look and see. Well, it does appear to be the case that we have got a lower low just there. Let's then zoom in and see behind me right now, but this will actually reveal it for you on your screen, I think, probably. The RSI. Can you see that now? Should be able to see it just up there. That's bullish divergence. Okie dokie. So we have bullish divergence now. We did have it kind of here before. Now we have it here. We've not finished putting in this low as yet. So that's that. So that would be where the 236 is now lining up with our previous high. So we can say here, if I just circle this, then you can see that. And let me just zoom on in again and point this out to you. So what we're currently looking for then is for us to take out the 236 and our previous high with this low that just came in with some bullish divergence. Is this trending upward price action? No, it's not. I'm talking about what would start to look like trending upward price action. Where would our first, glorious point of success come in at? The last time that we were at that 236, we didn't close up above it. We didn't actually get anything there. We just were rejected from it. It's the smallest retrace you typically see, and we got rejected from it. That's natural. That's what happens, right? Here now we've gone in and put in this lower low. Will we get continuation on? Who knows? This is a downward trend, right? So what we're looking for is to see when this ends. This is a downward trend on the 1 minute time frame since the highs. And what we're asking here right now is, where do the discounts stop, if you want to talk about it like that? And the discounts on this thing could keep going for a while, right? Until such times as they stop. So there we have that. Let's keep an eye out for it. You can see yourself, I've left the circle on the charts there, so it kind of points out that area. And I'll move the charts over a bit, I guess, so you can see the RSI and stuff beside me a bit here. And we'll come back to this again. So AMAT, great, nice one. 140, big problems for us, always in the 140s area. If we can push past 140, then brilliant. Then we could be absolutely trending towards the top side. There are big, gaps to be filled, or flashes to be filled. Got a big one that could come down, knocking 80% off the price of this thing here in the 12-hour time frame, the 24-hour time frame, and so on. Towards the lower end of the scale here, how are we doing? See, because we're still ranging here until we actually take out these lows. When we pushed down last time, it was very, very strong, the push down, and it came in without bullish divergence on it either. We have just turned things around in terms of, like, now we're into the bullish control zone. We've got that. So if you've been watching this over the last few days and you're aware of, like, how to use the RSI, haven't been educated on how to use it very, very thoroughly by myself over the last wee while, then you'll be very much aware of how these effects were happening in relationship to each other. That that this, if you like, down here, down below, as I turn it into a sort of 3D sort of tube going down the way here, is that this area at the top, the big area that we're looking at, where we're in that big green section, was saying, hey, things are different now. And then when we drop down towards this one, we're like, hey, this is actually where the low is now, because of that high up there that you can see in that nice little sort of 2D, 3D drawing, right? Cool, excellent. So that's where we are just now. Obviously coming in, if we don't push up past, to say, 150, it's most likely going to have some bearish divergence in there. Bearish divergence in the oversold territory, perhaps a little bit more dodgy than otherwise. If you can take 2 seconds to take a look at POSH, then do so. POSH, would love to. Bulldog Buchanan, Poshmark over here. I guess it's kind of like Primark, but even more expensive. If you're from the UK, you'll get that reference. Over in the States, probably not so much. Thanks so much for the tip, Matthew, dropping in $6.90. What a lovely number. Really appreciated. Really is. And thanks for choosing to tune in. I'm just going to pop up this message that came in with the 6969 from TradeSpot, and again here on screen. Thanks everybody for choosing to tune in and spend your time here. Could be doing it anywhere with anybody, anywhere in the world at all right now, but here with us, having a fantastic time. Thank you so much. Learning, progressing, increasing the value of our trading accounts, everything else, all the while realizing as well that you have to remain cautious every time you do anything in the markets, and to be aware that black swan real life events can happen in your real life that can take you away from being able to do things any given time, and that can happen to anybody ever, and that you should always then try and plan for the unknown. Okay, and one of the known unknowns is something terrible happens. So plan for it. And it's wonderful then to be in this wonderful green day, enjoying that, enjoying having done all the planning well enough in the run up to this as well. So what do we have here? This is Posh. Yesterday we talked about Posh, and we were liking the look of Posh. We were indeed. It looked good, but there is this little zone here for us to get through. So as you can see, looking at the charts here, that yesterday's price action, it was pushing into that zone. I was pushing into it. Where are we today? Where have we been today? Yep, pushing into this zone, coming right up to that 236, and great. We did great. We were looking very positive. Today, we've done more of the same. In fact, closing out yesterday, I think very significantly, we closed out yesterday. That's still yesterday's candle there. It's the last hour of the day there yesterday, and it took us right up to the what do you call that again? The 200 simple period moving average. It took us right up to it, and was very strong right above that. Now, what were we going to see today? Could we get continuation? Well, we sure could, but look at what was happening in this region. This is today's price action. So let's just examine this real quick, okay? Thanks so much, Amanda, for bringing this up, because right now, as you can see for everybody, we're doing very good. And where are we aiming to? Well, we're going to keep our eyes out for $25. Still, we're aiming up. Wait, where have we been? We're at 25. Sorry, what I mean to say is, where's that? 25.83, 25.77. That's the next target. Hoping to see if we can kind of stay above 25.25. If we can't, then we could possibly drop down a bit more. But can manage risk easily on any sort of ongoing concerns. Probably here in it around about where that 50 simple period moving average is on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, so that's where we will come back in and check in on that in a minute. But for just now, I want to show people what's going on with where we left off yesterday and how today went, so that you could have known better how to handle yourself in the markets as we saw this dropping back down, having come in and tested 200 simple. So to do that, I'm going to go down to something smaller. Like, here's the 3-minute time frame. Doesn't really matter. It's an arbitrary choice. I just wanted to show something that's fairly small with that one. Here's the circle. It's not less of an ellipsis, more of a circle now. How handy is that? And we're looking in this region. So where's the 2nd of November at here? We were up at the top end of that zone. We kicked off the day, pulled down, came down towards where the 200 simple moving average was on a smaller term time frame, and tested that lower zone. We also had for some reason I've got this, I don't know what time frame I drew these two boxes on. Yeah, we also spoke about this yesterday about the movements of, I can't remember exactly what we spoke about these two RSI boxes, but in terms of the start of the day, yeah, we were only just coming back down and testing the neutral line, and we'd already changed conditions. We were in a bullish stance. You can see this was yesterday's price action to take us into this bullish area. So we're hoping for a turnaround in here today. We pushed down the way. So here's this thing again. Here's that circle there. Here's this circle here. And then, the sort of the zooming in sort of 3D drawing thing that I'm trying to do here to give you that kind of perspective on what we're looking at. So here we got this turnaround after having done this before. Well, what is it typical? Should we use the word typical for that? And then we see that we rose up the way. We also got a cross on the 5-minute time frame, a bullish cross, all happening today. So all of this bullishness coming in here after that real bullish end to yesterday, when there was a moment of inflection in the markets here. And what is that? Well, that's the big boys coming in and saying, give me your liquidity. I want your liquidity because I'm going to push on up immediately afterwards. Well, F yes. What does it also have? What other positive things can you see in here in this small time frame? Let me just draw particular attention to the low that we put in today here with another yellow circle around it, and then particular attention to the low that we put in here, and then draw a little series of connections here, connecting up those 3 lows, showing you that 1, 2, and 3, lower, lower, lower. And what do we see over here? Well, if we look in the same section of price action, we see higher, higher, higher. What is that? That is hidden bullish divergence. Is it hidden? Well, I hardly say it. think it's hidden whenever I can point it out so readily. It's not like there's any bushes in front of it or anything. It's right there. So so we'll say it's continuation divergence instead of hidden, and that's what we got. So what we wanted to look at then was this question. We already kind of scoped it out beforehand, and the small term timeframes are totally adequate to do it on. Let's just take it from where we were at that point of inflection today that we've spoken about with that hidden bullish divergence, etc. Pop that up towards the top side and see that as long as we're above $25 there, we're doing pretty good. What did I say before? Managing risk around that area, I guess. If you were to pull back down the way, you could be looking down towards 24.53, I suppose, as well. But of course, we're on the way towards the top side, and that's very, very good. So without further sort of attention towards those regions, identifying where where we need to manage our risk along this bullishness here, let's just take a quick second to look back to where we had our previous high up there and down to where we are now and say, here we have this, that's the 236, here we have this, it's the 382, here we have this, it's the 50%, and we're managing risk in it around about that area, so we don't need to experience any drawdown against us in a positive move up the way. Here's a quick another target if we do push on higher, which we so far we're on the way to doing. That comes in at around that 25.80 point, and blah 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 blah. And that's where we are with all of that one. That's where we are right now. It's good moves from us. Lack of bullish bearish divergence in this little move up the way, as you'd expect. It's been near parabolic, of course it would be. So but the chances of us now getting a turnaround fairly big. I.e., are people taking profit in this area? They are. Now, will they have taken profit off their entire positions? Possibly not. But what they would maybe then do is take the rest of that profit off if they were managing risk there, which would give you that liquidity to come back down and give this area a retest if you were looking to push on up the way in a more organic sort of stair-stepping movement. And just looking back the way then in terms of the true range, which isn't actually on my indicators down below, you can see obviously we've pushed outside of that today, so nice. That'll bring in a bit more of that liquidity that we're looking for, forcing it, like a juicer out of the markets. Over there on GME, we're seeing that we haven't pushed any further down as yet. We haven't taken out our previous lows. That this low, which I'm kind of got the crosshair on at the minute, is still remains as that where we drew the what do you call it in the Fibonacci retracement 2 is the previous low. So we're still, conditions haven't changed as yet there. And this orange line that we had in the past seems to be something to look for right here, right now. It's not, it won't be, it's absolutely not, because I drew it on a spurious line with no real significance. So I don't need to actually go back and check that. I'm at the stage now, and have been for several years, where I can trust myself. I'm at the stage now in terms of being a YouTuber where the audience can also trust me to not bother referencing why that's there. So that's good. So yeah, let's LFG on that one if we can. You can see here on the RSI, if you're looking and kind of wanting to keep an eye on kind of tracking how things are going, that obviously that we're in that section below the neutral line, above the bearish control zone, and that's so until such times as we've kind of gone back into that area, then obviously we're not like trending bullishly yet. So that's what we're still waiting for there on that one. What's next? What's the next one? Thank you, Dwayne, the Rocky Outcrop. You're a legend. Way. Thanks, Torsten. Torsten, he's the man of steel. Bulldog, you're the best. Hey, you're the best, Bulldog Buchanan. Thanks so much for that. Appreciate it massively. You're the best, Bulldog Buchanan. It is coming up to 4:20 p.m. in Europe right now. What use is that? It's funny. I've because the American time hasn't gone back yet, and because I'm so used to looking at American time in UK time, right, to know where you guys are in the States and where American markets are. Because American markets haven't changed their opening and closing time, I've left my watch on British summer time. Right? I know it's not sensible. I don't know. Anyway, I've left my watch on British summer time so I can quickly look at it and understand. I was actually thinking there yesterday that maybe what I'll do is I'll change it over to EST and just wear EST on my wrist, since I look at my watch so much more during the show, and that would cut out 1 second of thinking. And whenever I'm walking around, I mean, I can tell what time it is here by looking at New York time anyway. It's like it's just part of how this goes, trading for so long. Vic Vince, Wick Vince, Wick, Dankeschön Vic. Hello, how about XNET Oh, here's a man that loves a short. See that, you know, we've got people in the community that obviously diamond-handed people, blah blah blah, and they know all about hodling and they know all about everything else as well, and they like a short. There's a few of them. There's a like a short, and it's absolutely cool. We're not talking about hedge funds destroying lives over here. We're talking about people who are trading effectively in the markets to because because they're trying to they exploit the hedge funds as much as anybody else when they operate effectively. So right, yeah. Let's see here. This is a 5 minute time frame, and it's a chart I've not looked at before, so that's crazy. Okay, and everybody should know these things. So what I'm going to do is go up to a chart which will include enough of the daily. I mean, I aimed for the daily. I hit 12 hours. 12 hours. There's more than 12 hours in a day of trading, by the way, for anybody. So there you go. That's like the daily, and so we get a good look at the charts here. I'll just demonstrate that to you. Here's the daily chart. Yeah, it's the same. So then down here, what have we got is a big retrace. Now you're saying that you might want to short this. This is an interesting one, and an interesting one. It's an interesting that flash getting filled in there after the fact. Could we go up there and try it again sometimes? But the 2 day flashes, I'm not. I know I've not decided which ones the time frames I like the most on yet. Let me just checking around. I'm just checking at the minute for significant any sort of potential moves. Potential moves. Right. Okay. So 5 minute time frame. One perspective would be that we're above the 236 at the 382. Take out that 236 again. You've got an easy to manage risk section in here because you can think about it from the point of view of this sort of thing. Daniel Grove. Hey, here, there's one. There's one. Cheers to good trading days, Daniel. Cheers to good trading days as well, man. Good to see you. Excellent dude in there. So when you're thinking about shorting something like this, right, you could easily be looking at it along the lines of like kind of if we go down past the 236, then you've got your entry here, etc. We failed at 382. You could manage it and say, well, if we take out the 382 at this point, then I'm not interested in it anymore. As a short, and then we could come down here. But what you really kind of could be thinking, because shorting is dangerous, right, and all that, and in a situation like this, which I'll explain more in terms of the major horizontal that we're at, obviously, in a situation like in a second, in a situation like this, and you're looking to come in for to go lower. You're looking at trying to take out your lows, your previous lows. So your risk at this point, when you do come down to here, is that you start to get very, very bearish on the thing. When of course it could easily come back up and just at least sort of test at one of these areas, or indeed it simply be like what we just saw happening on the GME chart on the small time frame. So while you're looking at that, you can look over here as an example of the same sort of thing, right? It's the same sort of thing, okay? Isn't it? That we're looking at this and saying here, if we were to take out that line, it could get a lot more bearish, but but so far what actually happened is that we've come into that area. So so over here we've come in and put in a low just there, and you can see that yellow dotted line at the bottom showing us the bottom of it, right? Then over here on GME, what we did before, we came in and we put in a low. Then we moved up a bit and failed at the 236 where it was before. It's a very similar place to where it is now. Then we pushed on lower. And you'd be looking at that low there and perhaps getting quite bearish at that point if you were to be thinking about it this way. So what you would potentially do at that stage, if you are remaining bearish on it, is thinking like, that this is obviously, psychologically, this becomes like your risk at that point. Psychologically, and well, in reality as well, where this becomes like this becomes the conditions of the trade at that time. That becomes the conditions of the trade, except that if you were to be taking it from that zone, which is great because you've got all of this which isn't actually going to cost you anything, and it's like free risk and everything like that. You've got all of that on there for you. He wants to go long. Was that what you're saying? Oh, you suspect Vic Vince is an evil hedge fund and he's just tricking us all. Right, sound. This was a good discussion about shorting stuff, right? I don't think there's any harm in it. And that seeing how, of course, over here is an example of when a short can go against you, perhaps. is this sort of example just here where you've taken out your previous lows, and then of course you're going back up the way, and you're trying to think, well, am I right, am I wrong about this one? And at this point here, well, then you're maybe going to experience the point where you've got back to break even, and that's a better position to be in than to go heavy into a short right there at that area if you're thinking about shorting things on the basis of continuation of a trend. And then you'd have to then at that point look out and say, well, if that were to be the case, then you'd be looking at is this a wedge, is this whatever, is this doing whatever? But actually, I was only talking about this from the shorting point of view because I thought that's what you thought about doing. I've already got the 236 drawn in here and talked about how you'd only actually look at taking the short if you take that back out the way again, and then we're at the 382 just here, and that you'd be obviously thinking about managing any sort of risk that you had with upside potential moves against any shorts that you were taking with movements beyond that zone. And that is of course the exact equal opposite of if you were thinking about going long and being so easily and readily able to to change, to having the flexibility to switch. Is what I meant there. Your opinion is obviously just part of that agility that you need in markets. The responsiveness that you're looking for, and emotionally being able to flip over. So it's exactly the same emotional sort of scenario for us on this one. I do think that the chances of us getting a retest of the 236 here are fairly big. So that's why either way this works. And then that if we would be looking here and saying that if we were going towards the downside and actually taking that 236 out, I'd be looking at that 50 simple period moving average here. Movements down below 290, just like, it's not that great, but getting in at 291 is really great if you want to look at it that way. Well, that's something for the thing, right? The way that this Zoom thing works is that it's like a Windows system thing, and I can zoom in my Windows, Windows 10. So just doing it through the chat function, we'd need to have some way of getting the YouTube chat API to read the YouTube bot, a program, or that can read the YouTube chat from this live stream using the YouTube API to then send a hotkey to my computer to activate a hotkey, which I can then associate with that Zoom. It would be Control and 1 at the same time. So if I just take my keyboard here and show you to the camera, and I hit Control and 1, off we go to the races. So any of you out there amongst you that would be interested in doing that, that's the complete requirements, right? That's the complete requirements. Now there'd be additional requirements if you actually got to that point where you could mess around, but that would be it. If somebody wants to do that, for a laugh. But honestly, I can't afford it. I can't afford to take the time out of. I can't. It's very high hanging fruit. That very high hanging fruit. If somebody has actually got the ability to make it so that for them it's low hanging fruit, brilliant. But for me, I'm not going to get the ladders out and climb up past all of the sort of stranded kitties and everything else to get to the very top of that tree to pick off the one very small piece of what is quite sweet tasting, but obviously incredibly bad value fruit. Brilliant, sweet, awesome. So just to check in with our pal Jimmy over here, what can we see is that, of course, you're at that stage now where if you had been sort of taking the short off the back of this break of this low, then you'd be thinking to yourself, crap, that was crap, right? So just to enhance that view again, for people who are kind of watching along and trying to learn about how you would do things, if you were trying to short off the break of a previous low, and then you were thinking about your risk point of view, then currently you're in here eating all of this up. And the best that you could hope for would be like a 1-to-1 or a less than 1-to-1. Crap trade, right? Compared to, for instance, if you're up here and thinking about with regards to pushing past your previous highs, how would you go, etc. Now, even this, crap trade, because the technical setup for this is crap, right? What was the good technical setup? Well, there was plenty of them. For instance, there was the long position trade that you could have taken. We saw this pushing away from there and coming back down the way. You could have thought, well, anywhere in here, let's just say roughly there is where you took it from. You thought to yourself, I'll manage my risk by not taking out this previous wick over here. Take that out, don't want to be in the trade anymore. I'm going off the back of having had bullish divergence between these two lows right here, and I'm looking at having got a rejection off of the 236 right here, but at the same time knowing that if I take out the 236 now from where it is here, that I'm actually putting in a higher high, and it means that I could be aiming up towards the 382, giving you straight away a 2.82 to 1 risk reward trade. Very easy based off of technical reasons. This is when people say technical analysis works. This is one of the thousands upon thousands examples of how you would do that all the time. Now, this isn't something that I did before it happened. I explained the technical conditions and how you'd be looking at it, and I was also explaining the risk of shorting on this other asset based off the conditions just here. So I was saying it implicitly, and I think if you watch it back, you'll see that I was actually saying bullish stuff about GME with the risk with regards to this stock to bring in that point. And I think that is actually really highly educational. But, you know, I'd be happy to debate. Actually, I can't be arsed debating it. I could understand why a debate might be called for on that one. I was just saying, I don't care. Right, great, excellent. Knife catching Prince dropped 420. I'm looking to long it. Haha. Not all my trades are shorts. Damn it, Vic. I'm so sorry for having been so incredibly judgmental of you. I'm such a bad. I'm just like Vlad. I'm like Vlad. Back when we grew up in Bulgaria, you know, playing tadpole games and eating cold porridge for breakfast. I just thought that the world was shorting everybody all of the time. And that's what we should do too. Right. Anyway, yeah. So in terms of this one, just the facts are that we are obviously looking good on the small term time frames that I talked about before in terms of like the ability to get there. Things will look a heck of a lot better up above this 236 line just here, as you would expect. Pardon me. You're looking here and saying, have I got hidden bullish divergence? Because, pardon me, these lows are all higher lows. Over here on the RSI, we can see that, of course, these lows are all lower lows. So you've got hidden bullish divergence. You see how much more comfortable it is to talk about this as in terms of a long opportunity as well. When you look in the terms of when you look over to the left, I'll just bring up something like the 4-hour time frame so you can see this a lot easier. When you look over to the left and you see where we are currently, yes, we've been lower in the past, but this is what constitutes potentially a higher low, potentially. And looking over there, you can see the inflection that we've had here in the past, that clearly this is also a pivot point in the markets, and that while we did push low again over here, that these were the consequence in some ways of having had this and this region. You might not be able to see that on your screen so easily. Let me just show you this here, because this is one of the remarkable things that doesn't happen every day. That we had a nice RO flash right here. Flash coming in telling us, you know, might not happen straight away. Flash again, which actually then resulted after that with this gap that came in that went over the flat. Did we actually talk about this stock back then? Did we talk about this here with a gap over a... Did we talk about this here? I don't know. We might have done. Might have talked about it somewhere. It might have just been somewhere. I don't know. But this is one of these curious ones, and it feels reminiscent to me of a sense. But this is an edge case, okay? So of course you're always going to feel reminiscent when you see edge cases like this. Anyway, you see this lining up. Is it just a bit off? Just a bit off, right? Cool. Let's go. Yeah, I can get that there. That would be much better, right? So you can see that we had this one just here, this rocket called flash, and then we had this other one and a gap between the flash and these two flashes lining up with each other. And I went the wrong way, did I? I don't give a shit about that. I might make a point. Who cares? I'll be done in a minute. Stop interrupting. Look, for anybody who's anxious about the GME chart, there it is over there. We came up, we got quite high, didn't get to the 382, pulled back down the way. And that, yeah, just do it properly later. Yeah, I'm not gonna, exactly, cool. I'm just trying to get the work part done. Flash here, interesting stuff. Flash here, interesting stuff. Notable thing about this one, didn't get done. Stone stayed in shoe. Movement back up the way here, but stone stayed in shoe with the flash. Another one, but up we go, and there we had it, another flash. And then we have one stone in a shoe and two stones in a shoe here, you know. So then the fact is that we came back down and we retested this price action again. Not once, not twice, but also in here and filled in that gap to do so. Nice. Moved along here, came back in, we tested off of that line again. What is that one? Well, that's in around about this flash region in that gap again, and around found support. So it's like we've done that. We've done quite a lot of that. Is there a chance to long this here? Have we done enough sort of inflection in the markets? Well, we came back and we did it again. Now maybe we've done enough in the markets in that sort of sense, right? So looking for this to kind of pull around, wanted to trace the 50 period simple moving average up the way all the time as long as we can. we can see that we're just towards the Bollinger Bands. If I had them on the charts right now, which I don't, but I'll stick them on real quick, will be at the 236, as you can see right there. And we need to really take out those higher targets. Moving up towards the 618 is just simply testing off the top side of the Bollinger Band and whatnot, and could of course just be continuation of negativity, but this is a decent one. And then finally, sort of just weekly time frame, and zooming back the way back out the way, then you can see this is a massive kind of, this is a general pivot, big volatility potential for us, with downside movements. But staying, if you were scaling in and really just trading it very poorly, and not managing risk at all, but just scaling in as opposed to managing risk, then you could easily get yourself a decent enough longer term play out the back of this one for at least just the range to a lower high without changing any of the massive macro dynamic, which is largely sideways and down, with us towards the lower end of that range currently. And that's 90% of what most successful traders in the world ever really think about. Right, cool. So over here on GME again, so having pulled back down the way, and in this little trade idea that was kind of talked about at the time, from like just going up towards that target, etc., what we've done is we come in and we put in a higher high and we pull back down. Now, life isn't all about sort of the trade that you're taking necessarily at the time, and most people watching this right here won't even be taking that as a trade. So since it is actually quite distracting, I'm going to just take it off the charts. But note before we do that, where price action is above that orange line, and that our management of our risk zone was obviously well below that orange line. Moreover, it was actually below that previous low over there, if you were looking at that. And of course, as well, you could have easily taken some of your profit if you had been trading that. What we're actually looking for now is the comparison point between these circles that I'm drawing on the charts, or trying to draw onto the charts, or trying to move to work on the charts properly, is the comparison points here. Is we've got these several different regions. We've got a high. We already know in here that this area where the green line is, that's bullishly divergent. We already know that. So we've got these three instead to kind of just examine, just for where we are right now. We've the relationship between these two, and the relationship between these as well. Now, the thing about this is worth pointing out is that actually is a somewhat of a false premise to say that that's entirely how that works when this region here was a lower low. But I'm sure if I just try to look around a wee bit here on the 1 minute time frame, I go to the 3 minute time frame and zoom in. Okay, so we've got just this. Well, it just makes it kind of more obvious in a sense that high, this high here, is not part of a trend. This was a final high in a downward trend. This is a final high in a downward trend. Make it bright blue. At least that's kind of easier to see. That's the final high in a downward trend, and those two are at least a high and a low in an upward trend. We're now down below that orange line, and we're just touching where that risk management zone started, just touching that area. So let's then look and see how those things are performing. So a high here that wasn't actually part of that upward trend, but we did push up past it. That was at the neutral line. A low here and a higher low that's not got hidden bullish divergence, which is decent enough because that would also be trending downward action there in the RSI we don't want to see right now. That's fine. So could this then be that turnaround, and where would the next target be at? Will it be up towards the 382? Would that change conditions again? We've had a change in conditions recently. That was with today's start of price action. We were previously as well not going into the bearish control zone. So yeah, looking okay, but yeah, in terms of the mentality that you would have around this point of view, if you were kind of trading it and you hadn't taken any profit, remains like that. Where it remains like that, where if we take out that low, then while we may see an upward move, that we're still trending towards the downside. Because let's just go to a bigger time frame, like the 15 minutes, and see that this is this inflection here. This is this consolidation, and then bear in mind where that's kind of happening at with regards to the movements we've seen so far. So let's just measure that out again and see. So just where is all this happening at? And let's see, so where would the significant low be? This one is the one to take it from, so easy peas. Take that there, up she goes to the high, and we can then zoom back on in, go down to the lower turn, even this 3 minute time frame, and zoom back on in and see, instead of all those other Fibonacci's that we had before on there, the one that we really are concerned about right now with all of this chat And it's, of course, this 236, which is showing us the movement we've had today and the fact that this consolidation that's happening is happening just below it, just here. It's happening just below it, just here. So that's where we are. This move here still on, could still happen. All of that could still happen. But that's where we are. So where targets that we've got are, first off, we obviously need to break past that 236. We really do need to take out the 382, etc. But staying up above this zone is crucial. Go all the way back down, putting another low. Is this another lower low? Because I think this could be our third push of bullish divergence. If it is, let's just see if there's another lower low, and then I'm going to go away, right? Because managing, because it's describing exactly every single movement in the market is hard work, right? It's tiring, right? So yeah, that looks to be lower. Okay, that looks to be lower. Obviously this is an opening candle, so it's annoying that that's the way it is, but there you have it. It's slightly lower. So how is this then? Well, that'd be more bullish divergence. So it's on again. On again. Let's take another trade idea from round about here. Say that we don't want to take out that wick. Now that we've done that, we could aim even higher if we wanted to, just to be like, that's our ridiculous trade. Bearing in mind, quite happy to take profit off the table anywhere along the way here to pay for that trade. You know that you would do, because this would be very easy to take profit off the table to pay yourself, to say, well, this is a zero risk trade. And then what you've done there is that you'd have been trading zero risk, zero risk, zero risk, making money, constantly doing well. But we're not doing that with this stock, and that's enough of that detail on that front anyway. Instead, let's zoom back out the way and remind ourselves really what we've achieved so far and what remains on the charts for us to be aware of. A big gap down here at $212. If the prices drop down to $212, are we all going to cry into our cornflakes? Are we going to cry into our cornflakes about it or not? Not necessarily. There was also a flash on the charts down there and another gap that comes in at 175 to 172 sort of region, right? Those are the two big downside targets. If you're looking for discounts on this thing over the period of the next couple of months, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, where's the best one? Blah 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 blah. It's one of those. It's one of those two would be your first easy, very easy, obvious targets to look to, which have been said here now. So that's that. However, this currently looks like a bull flag. It's not the ideal scenario for a bull flag in terms of where it's flagging out at, or in terms of what I like to see, but it is a bull flag where we are just now, and anything coming in here any of the way down is a higher low on all of the decent sized time frames. And then when you go up to the bigger time frames and you look back down to the 171 gap, it's also a higher low. And that this would also then obviously be really, really, really positive, strong trend in price action in the bigger, broader term time frame. So again, going on up the way, here's the 2-day or something like that. Hide all the drawings for a split second. What you'd be looking at then, of course, would be a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low. If we can just do well today and close out the prices at 220, then I'd be happy. I'd be really wanting almost to see the prices drop to 171 again. Almost wanting to, because that would be cool, because we've been trending well without bearish divergence, etc., starting to turn things around. However, if we can just actually close out the day today and then get continuation and fly on towards the top side, then all to the good, right? Because we're already got this thing. Okay, so brilliant. Let's get over to some chat screen and see how everybody's getting on, and try and see if we can start to kind of round things off soon, right? We're an hour and 17 minutes into this live stream, and doing great. Everybody having a fantastic time. Jeff Smith, trying to understand today's price movement on GME, AMC, and more. Hit like and pull up a chair. Brilliant. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. What is the reason for it? People often ask this, what's the reason for it? Well, I proved yesterday that it's nothing to do with fundamentals, because the fundamentals will tell you bollocks on these things, okay? So there's nothing to do with that. Instead, price leads price. Price always leads price, and the price movements that we've had have led the price. Now, people have asked me in the comments of my YouTube videos recently, where can we see, what can we see, etc. And I've tried to, and people are so, especially people from the United States, are so focused on time. The reason for that is because, although a lot of you guys and girls out there don't know it, and a lot of people do also know it. Nobody discusses it. Is that yous are all influenced by options? Okay, all of yous are influenced by options, hugely. So your psychology is shackled and bound by options discussions and that options which expire, like options which have got huge leverage on them and that go to being worthless and being worth loads and flicking in between, and you not actually losing out on your position. So you can imagine the YOLO traders that come in there and affect that kind of mentality about things, right? Time is totally not important. Time has got fuck all to do with anything. It's always had fuck all to do with anything. Otherwise, black swan events would be these lovely, graceful, downwards, long bear trends, etc. And it's never been the way that the world's worked, and it's never been the way the world's worked with anything. Just look at the technology adoption curves. For example, things start off very slowly, go up incredibly fast. You never know where you are on the curve, and then it ends, and things get back to normal again. So there was no Facebook in 2001. Then there was Facebook, and now Facebook struggles to get any growth, etc. We've seen it before. Massive change in the world. That's how the world works. Time has got fuck all to do with anything at all, and always has forever. Anyway, now that that's covered, we've seen a lot of these movements happen. So things are speeding up in terms of the price action. That's fantastic to see. So hopefully we can continue that, and hopefully we can continue being really exuberant in the markets, even if we do see pullbacks to these other areas, or we see they get bought up and movements going on the way. The malaise that happens is whenever the true range drops off on charts, and you see it kind of just going slowly, and then of course then the time questions increase, little, bigger, more and more time questions. The reason for it is because in people's environments, or even in their own heads, you've got option expiring. That's what's going on there. I think that's very, very, very important to point that out, because it's not something that affects European traders anywhere near as much, and it's massive impact on your psychology. So with that being said, what have we got to chat about? TradeSpawn says, could you plop a referral link to Coinbase Learn in chat, Rocky? Yeah, okay.
Smart chat pack like that. Who is that? TradeSpawn.
That's TradeSpawn. You chat to people for a second while I go get my link, please.
Hello, people. How are you doing? What a lovely day it's been for price action. We obviously knew it was coming, but then still, it's nice to see, right? It's not like we've lost the thrill of surprise. We enjoyed it just because we knew it was coming. And we also knew that the top where it would be, so some people exercised calls. And we've also got potential areas to put those profits back into the stonk. Pretty good shit, really. People say there's no point in TA. Morons. So, how's everybody? Having a good day? Recover from those squats yet?
What have people been chatting about in chat when I've not been reading it?
People have been asking about how you get into cryptocurrency and do it the right way. I pointed out that Coinbase Learn have got a function on their website where you can go on and learn about other coins, new coins that have made it into what that niche would consider to be a more mainstream adoption than the more far out coins. And so it's good to keep abreast of what is moving and shaking in that direction. It's also a good reason to learn there, because when you do click on things and do their little Q&A section, they reward you with free coins, which is great, because sometimes they go up in money and sometimes they don't. And if you're just getting started, I can tell you invariably you'll lose all your money. And so it's a much better idea to collect the free coins that you'll get on Coinbase and then transfer that not on Coinbase itself, but open up Coinbase Pro, which you'll be able to log into with your same credentials. Then click deposit and transfer to those relevant wallets the money that you've been given for free by Coinbase, and immediately sell it out of whatever that stupid currency they gave you was, and put it into USDT, and then trade those alts, or transfer it to, preferably, once your understanding levels up, right? You can use it on Coinbase Pro to do some trading and get used to it, because they've got lower fees there than on Coinbase. And so that would be the idea, right? It's pro.coinbase.com. The best place to sign up to these things is via Rocky's referral link, because it doesn't cost you anything extra. And then it's a little reward to him. And then, but you don't have to. It makes no difference. And then, although you might get a discount on your fees, in fact, if you use a referral link, you possibly do. Anyway, So then after a while, you'll think, well, Coinbase is crap, right? For a start, their fees are too high. You don't trust them. Their outages come at suspicious times. There's plenty of things about Coinbase you might feel frustrating. And I'd tell you that they're features of their exchange rather than a bug in their software. So eventually you'll come to learn that Coinbase really isn't the place for you if you're an outcroptician, a doomslayer, or anyone else, frankly. And they also love to tell the government everything they possibly can about you, which may or may not be right up your street. And but they certainly will be. And so you'll think to yourself, well, there's a better way. You'll also think like there's not enough of A liquidity or B selection. So you'll then think a slightly better option might be Binance, but they're very hard to trust. Very, very hard to trust. In that if you were to trust them, I'd consider you stupid. And Binance.
You can't trust anybody.
You can't trust anybody, but you certainly can't trust something that's run by somebody.
That's the thing. Is
like CZ.
That's the thing. Is like if you want to trust people based on things like their trustworthiness on face value, then you wouldn't trust them at all. But then you would kind of trust Coinbase. But Coinbase have got a really strong history of screwing people over constantly, and Binance have actually got a far cleaner history of it. So it's a debatable one there. I would say that the people behind it definitely involved in Chinese government and corrupt and all the rest of it. And on the other hand, way more trustable than Coinbase or Gemini or any of them. So I mean, I don't trust the Winklevoss twins. What idiot would?
So you've grown from being interested in cryptocurrency and not trusting it at all, to realizing that it's a good way to trade because there's a huge volatility there, which is like a gift to you, volatility as a trader. And then you'll think Coinbase isn't really good enough and you might move to something like Binance. And then you'll come further along your journey and you'll think, I don't want this idea of a centralized exchange. Like Rocky says, I don't trust anyone anymore. And the thing about crypto is I shouldn't have to trust anyone because this is the way it works. And then you'll move to trading on a decentralized exchange, something like Uniswap. But to go from zero to learning how to use Uniswap is difficult, and touching on Coinbase Learn is a good place to get the hang of something if you're starting from there. But ultimately, if you're anywhere along that journey, then you'll end up on a decentralized exchange in control of your own crypto, in control of your own passphrases, and control of your own passwords and all your own private keys. And you'll know how to trade efficiently because they're open 24/7 crypto markets. They move huge amounts all the time, and you'll need the right type of lifestyle to deal with it. And you'll need to be an efficient trader in order to do it well, and not just in terms of money, but in terms of your time and how you deploy it. So that's the process you're likely to go through with regards to learning how to use cryptocurrency. And it's not a bad place to start, Coinbase. It's just not a great place to spend too much of your time.
Okay, great. And there's other ones, and I'll tell other people about other ones than that over the course of the week and stuff like that as well, if there's other things to be mentioned on that front in terms of that. If you want to get into learning about cryptocurrency, you need to remember that a lot of the information out there will be overwhelming to you. And it'll sound overwhelming and feel overwhelming, such as there are thousands of cryptocurrencies, as if we need another one. A very sarcastic and I would like to say sardonic, but he kind of missed it really, to be honest with you. Patrick Boyle comment the other day on his video talking about cryptocurrencies. He says, what is another cryptocurrency, as if the world needs another one of those. I know, it's amazing, isn't it? Well, there's more fart sound making companies out there than there are cryptocurrencies still. It's like if you talk about stocks and shares, like there's thousands and thousands and thousands of different companies that you can trade. As if we need another company. What's that? Are you selling shoes? As if we need another shoe company. Get out of town. I know. So anyway, he missed his joke a wee bit. It can seem overwhelming because people will say to you, there's thousands of cryptocurrencies. It's like, yeah, I know. There's actually thousands of types of cheese as well. It's crazy that we've got choice in this world. It's amazing. And there'll be more, right? And then they'll be like, oh, the fundamentals in cryptocurrency, they're so hard to understand. It's like, yeah, cool and everything. When were the last time that fundamentals made a difference to anything in the world ever? Unless you're maybe like actually got billions of dollars and you're trying to buy and merge with another company, and then you look at the fundamentals and say, what are we doing this for? This company's crap. You know, then fundamentals matter. Or, oh my goodness, let's not tell anybody that we're doing this merger because this company is actually quite good. Then fundamentals matter. The rest of the time it doesn't. So they don't matter in cryptocurrency really all that much either.
I'll tell you what though, there'll be a serious conversation about fundamentals when AMC hits $82. You know, there'll be a serious conversation about fundamentals of, you know, the risk and the reward and the reasons people got into it. And you'll look to each other and say, are you going to hold? And when they do, you won't have that benefit of when you look to your guy on your left and your right on AMC and saying, well, they held it from 400
GME
plus down to 30.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Just for clarity, he was speaking that he said AMC people won't have the ability that GME people have. He used the wrong abbreviations there in that one. Who cares though? Anyway, Jimmy wants to bang a drum about who's the better and whatever else. And that there's the risk. Yeah, it is a risk. Yeah. Okay, no, sorry, wrong interpretation. Jimmy doesn't want to say who's better or not ever. He just wants to point out that regardless of better and not better, that the experience of the average GME holder who's been in since January is somewhat more harder skinned than that of the AMC person having experienced bigger drop downs and recoveries. Right? It's not, it's a fact. It's a fact, right? It's a fact. It's clearly a fact, yeah. It's clearly a fact, yeah. So I mean, if the prices of AMC hit $44, boom, expect the sell-off, obviously, right? And then it hits, well, it's 67 and then 87 and stuff like that. And then if it ever got to 110, big ones and that, there'd be massive pullbacks and that. You're going to see it, you know. You're going to see it, and you're going to see people doing things like, I mean, like it happened there at $72. I mean, we all saw it. We all saw people making millions of dollars off of options, you know, selling them off to other people. Other people who buy the options for cash have obviously then end up as bag holders or just lost the cash, lost the money, and stuff like that, or else they exercise them for shares and then they sell them onto the market for cash. So anybody who makes the loads of money at the top of the market in that sense and talked about it and is publicly known for it, obviously took that money from other people who were buying it from them, who were being positive at the time, and that's incredibly immoral, and it's and that sort of thing, and that happens in AMC all the time, right? So just so you know that type of immoral thing can happen, but I'm not out here to change the world of YouTubers, you know. I'm just out here to be, be the change you want to see in the world. So I am, in a sense, but really, I just care about people, and that's all it is. Right, sound brilliant. Back to this thing. I'll do telling people about all this sort of stuff. You what now? My channel's never been about GME or AMC and that. It's just they feature a lot because they're great. My channel's been about teaching people to become financially independent and doing that through technical analysis and caring about them and having the patience and the care to help the person in front of me, and that's all it's ever been about. And we do it every day. No, you can't see, you won't be seen in it though, because you have to think about how I'm tiny.
Yeah.
You'd be huge if you were closer.
Yeah, Rocky just tells people if you've got a problem with it, I'll fuck you up.
Yeah. Right, so 4:58, and we can start to wrap up soon. You know what? But if anybody else is asking that, hypothetically, would one wait to put in on Ethereum? So we can take a look at that. Thanks, bro. Cheers, says Daz. Really appreciated. Badass trader. What about ETS FTDs on top of BBBY announcement? ETS FTDs on top of BBBY announcement. Well, yeah. I don't know about all of the meme shit, right? I can just go over to BBB in a second. BBBY. Right, I can open up the chart. I can then go to something like the 1 hour chart here. I can then take away the Bollinger Bands that are distracting. I can look at them and I can say, when we started this show here, there were not as many candles on, and they were not all down, as far down as they are now. And we talked about how they'd be going down, and that's that. And we talked about how they'd be going things. I talk about how things will move based off of the realities of charts all the time. I don't look at things like stuff like that. To be perfectly honest with you, I just don't bother. Just don't bother. Now, there are interesting things to be found out about it. Absolutely sure. ETF FTDs on top of BBBY is the sort of thing that I'd be interested in. It'd be cool to see and to know more about. But in terms of being able to judge, trust anybody's judgment on it, I'd say no. I don't trust anybody's judgment on it at all whatsoever. And meanwhile, I trust my own judgment on charts so much that I just don't bother. If I ever do any of that DD myself, I do it myself. And that's that. I do, of course I do. I might. Yeah, no, I always look at charts. Yeah, it's where the information comes from. I don't know. What can I say? What about ETF FDDs on top of BBBY? I don't know, man. I really don't know because I don't know the announcement thing. Anything about ETF FTDs would have been talked about yesterday. It means it's yesterday's news. We've seen a big jump today, and it's yesterday's news. It means it's irrelevant now. So I don't know what you're talking about. All right. Yeah. Yeah, Jimmy says, what I'm trying to say is I can't give the best answer on that, but I can give the best answer on the charts. And I'd like to clarify that by saying I just gave the best answer on that. Right. So anyway, what are we looking at here? Why, somebody asked me to take us something. Hypothetically, look at Ethereum. Yeah, so Ethereum. Ethereum, ETH-USDT. Right, great. Where are we? 454547. Big shout out to me who told Ape Andy to get into this at $2,700 to then move up to 4,500. That's great. Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's what I did personally, directly to somebody. Now I'm not going to do that anymore, and he's going to have to realize that I'm not actually somebody's personal financial manager. I'm really not, buddy. But at the same time, woo, fantastic, making monies. Right, brilliant. So anyway, are we looking at a potential dip area? We came back down. We already tested that 236. If we do actually push down below 4450, then I think the chances of you getting in at sort of let's say, is there a 10% discount to be had on here? Yeah, there's a 10% discount to be had on here. Yep, sure there is. If we push down past that point there of 4,450, you know, is like this is something that's now expensive, you know, in a sense, not expensive in any, you know what I mean. But you can see movements down of $100, and it constitutes less than 3% move on the asset, right? So what I'm saying is that if it moves a few percent, then it could move another 7%, right? So while those numbers might seem difficult to process for people, you know, that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, sure, there could totally be a 10% discount on the thing here, and you'd only really have to see things travel more, 3% to know if you're going to get that or not in the immediacy. In terms of towards the top side, where are we right now? Oh, yeah, same sort of distance away, $90 towards the top side changes things somewhat. Where are we in terms of the RSI? We're negative, now bullish, in between, 1 hour time frame. Not learning an awful lot there. It's ultimately chop. We're bullish, didn't turn negative, remain bullish. So that's good, learning a bit more there. 24-hour time frame was bullish, didn't turn negative, up here remaining bullish. So how about we just kind of more or less say that we're remaining bullish on this one? Where are we here versus our previous highs as well? Well, definitely bearishly divergent. Bearishly divergent, in fact, quite strongly on there. And how's this gone up overall? Very, very strongly as well. So therefore, coming back down the way and saying, could we actually get a bigger discount, right? Because I would be more curious as to whether compared to 10% than whether we get a bigger discount and when that tastiness might actually ensue. And bearing that in mind is at 4,050. Yeah, so right, either you get your 10% discount, you take it, you manage your risk. If it goes an extra couple of percent, you don't want to be in it anymore. Why? Because if you go an extra few percent, you could crack 4,000. Cracking 4,000 can see things move in chunks of 10%, right? So I'm talking about an inflection period that could happen here, which could be somewhat organic, 3% to 10% movement, moving past that 13, 14, 15%. You don't want to be in it because actually you're aiming towards 20 at that point, and then 30, then 40, and so on and so on. And looking down the way, well, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 doesn't actually stack up as much as necessarily the full 40%. I'm not looking that we're going to go straight back down to 2,700. No. I'm just saying that you could easily get something like 20% overall here. 3,500 would suddenly be on the cards, and that's $1,000 off, and you're talking about a massive chunk in the price action. So in terms of where we are right now, that's what we're looking at. Obviously bullish, though. Obviously looking for continuation. Obvious. Oh, no, I'm not saying options is immoral. I'm not saying selling options is immoral. Not at all. No way, Jose. What actually? No way at all. Definitely not. No way at all. What I'm saying is immoral is to pretend What I'm saying is that the SEC and the DTCC have got rules in place which are to do with pushing your own book, and that the way and that the and to do that and it's illegal and it's immoral, right? And that people who do that are wrong, and that's why I am very clear on the channel to never give financial advice. And that a lot of the methods that people do who push their own book, who do all these things and that are immoral, is that they then use options and they do it to exploit the markets in a way, and that's how it's done. Okay, but it's not as immoral to do it. It's not immoral to do it. It's not immoral to use options. There's nothing immoral about making money at all. There's nothing immoral about exploiting the market either. No, it's about people who pushing their own book onto people that are doing something immoral, and that's nothing to do with it. Yeah, after you've exercised. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, after you've exercised. That exactly. Exactly, right? Exactly. It's what is it? It's like, so did DFV do anything immoral? No, he didn't, right? And what did he do? He did options plays very, very well and very, very successfully, and he did it correctly. What did everybody else, do? Did they do it immorally or not? I'm not commenting on everybody else. All I'm specifically commenting on is the people who would push their own. Oh yeah, I'm angry. Oh, sorry. Jamie's right. He's pointing out that I'm angry at people who care about me, but I'm not actually. No, I know how I come across. Anybody who ever says to me that I said something about that it's immoral to take money at the markets or to trade in the markets, or that in some way using mechanisms of the markets are immoral, or that derivatives are immoral, or that shorting's immoral, or if any of these things are immoral, is bullshit. I've never done that at all. The only things I've ever said that are moral are then short hedge funds deliberately destroy companies using synthetic shares, etc., to exploit market dynamics to fuck people's lives over. That's immoral. When governments legislate poorly, that's immoral. Whenever banks lend out excessive leverage to big companies like to family firms like Archegos and got $8 billion into their own debt like Credit Suisse, and that sort of thing, or with lending off the back of assets like Beatles records and stuff like that instead of actual money and everything. That's the moral. When somebody goes into the world and does things like when I think that what like Adam Aaron dumping his shares and through hedge funds onto the markets without announcing to people that it was going to happen, and also doing it at $32 like a moron as well. I think that was immoral, and I think it's okay to say these things, right? I think it's okay. And I think then as well that anybody then who thinks to themselves that it's okay to tell people to buy a stock as they sell the stock, if we were telling people to buy a stock as they sell a stock, is immoral, and that the functioning, the mechanisms behind it, the string that goes together, is so often got an options play in the middle of it, and that's it. But the options themselves are not immoral, not at all, and that using them is really a good thing, in fact. And it's actually and derivatives, I think, are not immoral at all. I think all derivatives really actually, mostly for the most part, provide extra liquidity in the markets and extra mechanisms for people to make money and be financially independent and all that. It's all good. So that's just to be very, 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 very clear, right? To be very, very clear. I respect good traders, yeah. I don't respect people who would dump it. So DFE was never pushing his own book and then dumping it onto the markets as he was sitting there positively about something. He would never have done that, I imagine, for two reasons. One, because it's illegal, and he's actually is part of the regulated thing. I don't care. I'm only talking about this because you're talking about it. You know that? I don't give a fuck. No, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I've not said anything wrong. I've not said anything wrong, man. I've not done anything wrong. Uh-huh. Good. I'm not explaining any of that. This is a massive waste of time. This whole conversation is a waste of time. Yeah, I know. I am positive. Anybody who thinks that I'm not, look, I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. So forget it. That conversation's over. Yeah, there's no problem there. I've already explained everything. I didn't explain it twice or 3 or 10 or 50 times. I'm gonna be fun. Right. So yeah, nothing immoral, no problems. Nobody's done anything wrong. Everybody's dead great. Be happy. Wonderful stuff. Right. Anyway, yeah. So what else is there to talk about here? How has that GME stuff got on in the last couple of minutes? With this, like, all my drawings have come back on. I didn't want that. Or no, not come back on. They're on right now. Yeah, $213, $214 coming in to fill in that gap right now. So I think this was quite clearly shown out there by my TA today from the start. So that's good. Kind of tuned in at around about $240 and stuff like that. Talked about this on the way down. Talked about the good value discounts that are available. There's one of them. There is another potential for us to go to 171. Okay, that's the potential for us. And throughout that entire period, I would remain bullish on it. Right. Okay. So that's that. Just that. You know, just that. That would be that. Right, yeah. Look, if anybody wants to talk to me about anything to do with anything that I've talked about today at all, to get seek any further clarity from me at all about anything at all, then I'm always available. And that, what? Yeah, I'm always available. It's always, no, it's fine. It's always available. That's fine. No, I'm not reading chat messages for 15 minutes. I'll read chat messages for maybe 3 minutes and then I'm tuning out. I'm tuning out really, really soon. Yeah, I know. Yeah, stop talking to me during my stream. Sorry, I need to explain to everybody that I've got Jamie's here in the room with me, talking to me at the same time. It causes I'm live and he's talking to me. It causes me so much anxiety. I wish he'd stop. Yeah, so we'll spend a couple of minutes chatting here with people, and then we'll tune out, and that'll be great. And see, I'll be able to read for myself what everybody's talking about here now. Where is that? My net is he shaves them so he can trade faster. My net? I'm real out of context with that conversation. Let's see. Scroll back up a bit and see how people have been chatting about it for the last wee while. See here, Rocky isn't saying selling options is immoral. No, I never said that. That's a stupid comment. Rocky outcrop finds himself to what? What? Well, my comments about it were obviously came across wrong. No, they weren't stupid to think that I was saying something negative. No, but to think that I would be saying that something's negative as a general rule is not knowing me. You know, that's not what I'm like. Yeah. Yeah, so Rocky isn't saying options are immoral. Of course not. Rocky outcrop, kind reminder that it's past 4 p.m. BST. Absolutely. Well past my time to tune out. The only thing that I will disagree with is that it was yesterday's news at after hours yesterday. They reacted to it, which led to Friday. But I get that UTA versus speculative fundamentals. Badass trader, man. What do you mean speculative fundamentals? There's no such thing. What are you talking about, speculative fundamentals? What's that? Yeah, TradeSpawn had called it before it went up after market. So that was the news. It's buy the rumor, sell the news. Like yesterday's news pushed the prices up today. And that. So it's yesterday's news, and it had the. I mean, if it happened after hours, I mean, I can get how you might say that because something happened after hours that yesterday, that it's today's news because the markets weren't open for normal trading there yesterday. But that's really. That's bending semantics to make a point. It's quite clearly yesterday's news. I sell options all the time, says Ghostly Spirit of Luxembourg. Of course you do. Everybody does. He's saying exercising options may result in bag holders. No, I was quite clearly talking about people who push their own books, who have got massive public followings. Yeah. What was it? Yeah. He is saying exercising options may result in bag holders, and the most ethical traders are value-based, but Rocky definitely doesn't say selling options immoral. Yeah, absolutely. And that, of course, that people who push their own books to do things and all that, or rest of it, that's immoral. DFE never did that. I never said he did. Wouldn't have done that. Yada, yada, yada. Great stuff. No, it's not immoral. Great stream today, Rocky. Thanks so much, Brady Pearl. Her Dash is looking for a run. Still learning to recognize it. Yeah. Dash is one of these ones that jumps around from time to time, but it's one of it's old. Original meme coin. Yeah, it's the original meme coin. It's like before people really much cared. I don't want to go into the details of the history of it, but it's like before people really cared about Doge or anything. You've got like Dash and stuff. It's like the I want to get a big chart up so we can see where did this thing start off at? Am I thinking of the wrong one? Am I on the wrong exchange here? Maybe on the wrong exchange here to see the data. Yes, I'm looking at it on Binance, and this was around before Binance. So I want to look at Dash USDT on something else like Poloniex maybe. Yeah, no, we've got it. Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. No, you were right to mention that. This chart here, the USDT chart, goes back for some reason to 2015. So I don't know, maybe they just merged it or something, or maybe I'm confused. But so anyway, yeah, cool. At times, you know, it's been really low. I mean, look at that. Look at these big drops down to 0.01. So like, you know, just under 2 cents. From having been at $6.48. I mean, was that like, you know, from $6.38 to under 2 cents in this? Wait, did that did it actually trade down there? Dash. Anyway, I've not looked at Dash in a while. As you can see, a lot more stability in that in the markets these days. 24-hour time frame. Was it just like a bad print? I mean, I don't think so. It will have really screwed people. Anyway, those sorts of things back in the day. I remember those big events as being like nuts, right? I mean, what is that in terms of percentages? Because it's going to be like 99.9999999. 99.97 or 99.76. Right. So that constitutes a big drop, by the way. So yeah, we've got flash down here at 71. We're at 197. That's quite a ways away. I think some of these flashes that are here are kind of like bear market flash, you know, things. But we could obviously visit them. It's not like we're not gone quite a distance towards that already. So yeah. Anyway, since June we've been doing all right. Up towards these highs, down towards that 618 golden pocket, excellent stuff in there. And then we turned around and we bounced off the 236 again. So this one seems to be kind of going along in terms of that this picture just here as normal. No, nothing really unusual happening here or any sort of black swanny type stuff at all. So that's good. And we're in the middle of that range right now, sandwiched between the two moving averages. So you can see a lot of people will start to get that sort of speculative, we're going to break out things soon. And of course, we will probably get a decent move soon. You can also see that the candles are like recently been smaller than their true range, which is, you know, their average true range in the past has sometimes been a good deal bigger than some of these have been recently. So when we do get a move, then it could move more in one day than it has done in either of the previous two, that sort of thing. So like, you know, you can so then whenever you're looking at the charts, it says, oh, up big percentages, etc., and all that sort of stuff. We want to see if we get 3 or 4 or 5 good days in a row with these sorts of things, you know, like over here we got a nice trend. So that sort of thing at the minute. From that high, that low, and we're above the 236 right now on it as well, kind of invalidating that 195. But what can I say though anyway, really, on this one? It's consolidating. So did somebody ask about it though? They said something specifically about Dash, I think. Did they? Oh, I covered it enough. Yeah, that's fine. I covered it enough. Right, cool. Oh, I want to look at Chainlink real quick. How's it doing? 31.40. It's been at 32 and stuff recently. Still looking to see if we can get this. Still looking to see if we can really crack the 33 pivot. We haven't really been able to do that. We obviously tried that in this most recent run up that we had back in September. Let's try that again, because the targets on this thing are quite big and not too dissimilar looking kind of targets wise chart is over here at $53, etc. $48 and that sort of stuff. No, sorry, it's dot. It's up at $53. It's nice. It's wait, 52.86. Good work on that one. It's obviously loads. You know, we'd have to drop loads down to 36 to take out that 236. So managing your risk in around about those areas on a macro scale is decent. We're up at $50 again, but you can see that the jumps around that we had, we came up towards $36, $37 back here in August, pushed down towards the $25, up to the 52, and hoping to see sort of similar in a similar market cap, similar sort of size coin. Here we got moving up to the 35, back down to $20, and so far only managed to go up as high as 33. So a couple of different coins that I was looking at the same sort of time. Dot did its moves, the other ones didn't. Yeah. What else would I want to look at the minute? I'm trying to think of things that I want to look at. There was yeah, I can take a look at Cardano. I'm not massively in. Yeah, Cardano retest off of that consolidation thing there, bang, perfectly off the retest of it there at 213. So that's great. Seeing the prices of it acting perfectly. You know, see when sometimes when you see technical analysis working constantly and working really perfectly, and it's aligning up perfectly with what you were talking about before, then brilliant. Then you know that things are that you're trading in a cohort of people who are trading alongside you the same way. So that's great. So staying above $200 really is the key for us here in Cardano. But it's not, those ones are good and everything, but I wanted to look at KSM, one of the other ones. I'll look at Rootpring. I'll take a look at Rootpring in a minute. Down here, $409 on that we could drop down to. I've been wondering about this one recently. The thing I'm wondering about this is, do we go up towards $600? Seeing its sister coin, Polkadot, pushing past its September highs to take out its all-time highs. So so Polkadot pushed past the $50 area to take out its all-time highs. You know, in a minute. So $600 is the KSM ones. That's another 50% up from where we are just now, nearly. So that's a really big chunk. It's kind of in the same way that Chainlink is challenging at these areas but not pushed past it yet, but DOT did. I'm thinking, could we see this happening with these ones? This has been very, very strong, and I think that the better entry would be at $409 as opposed to well, right here. But this is decent. Decent stuff as well. Yeah. Loopring, LRC-USDT. Oh, it's back. So yeah, this is what we're talking about here. Jimmy got a bit of feedback from people who were talking about this because they didn't understand what the word dangerous means. I'll just show you what the word dangerous means. For example, here it came up to 170. The current prices are 130. You can see that we've dropped down 23%, and we're still not at the 236. The 236, you know, just double checking everything here in terms of logarithmic and all that. Yeah. So the 236 is further away on the logarithmic scale by a significant chunk than 236 there on the moving linearly, right? So here's the linear scale, here's the logarithmic scale, there's the 236. Does that look dangerous to you in any way? I mean, I don't know, like, I don't know that the fact that for us to be able to say that from the point of view of this, which is moved parabolically, we'd want to look at it in a logarithmic scale for a start. Then that if we were to get a valid Fibonacci, that it would be, you'd have to see the prices move all the way down 31% to get to the point at which you'd be saying, hey, look, maybe this market's reversing after a 31% move. That, dangerous? Anyone? I don't know, right? So yeah, this positive on it, very bullish. Hello everybody, I'm very bullish, but I'm also bullish. You could. This would be a better entry, by the way, though. I mean, that's the thing about this, is that this would be a better entry. Yeah, this is why it adds up to being a good idea to take profits, which a lot of people will have done, right? A lot of people will have done. I probably did it in the last week. Yeah. Let's just see here. There's the sorry, I'm blind. There's the 1618 there. It's at the 236. That's at 122. Where's it 2 point, is it 2241 that's up at the minute? I think it might be. Where is it on my list? I was so blind about this. Just put on 272. Yeah, well, it's not obvious 2241 anyway. So it's like anyway, yeah, right, sound, whatever. Who cares? Yeah, where's one? There it is. There. Who cares? Right? Yeah, brilliant, great, fantastic stuff. But what's there to say about this one? It's obviously dangerous in that sense, right? Really, 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 really great move. Yeah, well, this was your break. This was your this. So anyway, we had a wedge on the charts. We moved outside of it. We did come back down and retest the kind of the horizontal. This was obviously as well bouncing off of the 236 Fibonacci at that time as well, obviously, and then we moved up. So that's the move. So Yeah, so you got the entry, aye.
It's about managing it, not about where do I get in. You don't get in trades.
Yeah, you can save all that chat for your own show later on. I've told people what the chat was with it, and I talk about risk management more than any other YouTuber. In fact, take all of them, including you, stick them all together, and you've still got not as much chat about risk management as me. So we're good on that front. Yeah. So yeah, right, cool. Who was it that was particularly upset about the options chat?
Anyone was upset.
Nobody was upset.
Really upset. It's just they didn't. Maybe you thought it was immoral, but you weren't saying that.
Nah.
And you weren't really saying anything.
I wasn't really saying anything.
Really, what your reflection was really ethical.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And that's it. And that I've been saying this entire time that I don't sell this stuff. So like, you know, and that and that's what that is. Right, great. Anyway, big shout out to everybody who does trade options and uses expiries that are into the future as well. It's like the big thing is that anybody who buys an option that's expiring like this week or next week or even the week after that is playing with fire, all sorts of fire. The type of fire that might be that you have to pass it on to somebody else because it becomes like the Ring movie, right? Where you're looking at like, you know, you've got the option, you know that you'll be screwed, so you give the Ring movie VHS to somebody else and the bad monster climbs out of their television set instead of yours. That's okay though. Right. Anyway, especially when you're putting all that lovely red luscious sangria all over gamma ramps every day. I mean, so anyway, it's that's the thing. That is exactly it, right? Because the gamma ramp is like the mythical gamma ramp, you know, isn't it? And it's like, how do you get a gamma ramp to happen? Well, very, you know, like you bit by bit, little by little, but also using these things which involve impossible ideas. Like, would that person who just made profit try to keep making more money right now? Or would they not do that because they just made profit? Right? That's one of the biggest components of a gamma ramp conversation is, so what you're relying on is people who've got, say, $100,000, turned it into $110,000, then turned it into 100, and then looks to turn it into 120, into 130, 140, all right here, right now, right here, right now. When in the previous 3 or 4 months, they'd only ever made $1,000, you know, and that they're living this other life where suddenly they're a completely different type of person and that they're going to be doing it. And it's it's one of those things. It's like, have the market participants actually geared up to doing that at that particular time. And gamma ramps just never, essentially, I'd love to see, send me some examples of gamma ramps in that. I'd love to see them. Anyway, great stuff. Brilliant, excellent stuff. I think we're done here. You know that. I think we're done here. I'm going to go back to the big chat screen thing and see if anybody wants me to take a look at anything else. If anybody wants to. Couldn't make a Stream Elements thingy work. Thanks for helping me get smarter, coach. Have an excellent day. Sal, couldn't make a Stream Elements thingy work. Did it not work? Can I just... Yeah, that worked. I don't know. Why did it not work when it was on the other screen? Can I just go back to it in a second here? Yeah, it's still showing up. So it should have worked. I don't know. Like, honestly, I mean, it should have worked, right? Right. The other ones have been working. So I don't know why. I don't know why it's bullying you, Sal. It's bullying you. Hypothetically, would one want to put in on Ethereum? Ah, great. So we've actually covered that as well. I've covered everything then. Brilliant. What? Likes. I ask people to hit like. I have a request coming in here from my YouTube advisor, who's telling me, please, could you ask everybody to hit like? You're not doing it enough, Rocky. Please, could you hit like? I'd really appreciate it. If you do that, then I'll come round to your house personally and thank you. Shake your hand. So do that. I'm about to get my jacket. I'm about to get my jacket and walk out the door and come on round. Oh shit, 5:27. Oh, it's 5:27 old school time. Yeah. Cool. Okay. I actually have that AGM thing. I have to go. I actually have to go. I have to go because I have to organize, you know, like the bin shoot in my building is I have to go, I have to actually go do stuff. Stuff, right? So screwed. All right. And talk to humans. Ah, my God, talking to human beings, interfacing. So I'm going to do that. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's the reverse roll call. Salamander, thank you. Ryan, thank you. Ryan Swales. Das, thank you. Badass Trader, thank you. Tradespoint, thank you. Jeff Smith, thank you. Knife Catching Price, or Prince, sorry. Thank you very much. Daniel Gross, thank you so much. Space Banana, thank you so much. What did you say in there? Because I didn't read that out earlier on when it came in. I missed that one. Hopping into the start now. Thanks for checking out HGEN. Can't wait to see. Oh, great. Hope you're doing well, man. Bulldog Buchanan, 499 super chat. You're the best. Thank you so much. Vic Vince, thank you so much. Torsten, thank you so much. Matthew, I really do quite like the name Torsten because it's Norwegian, and I feel like Torstens would have stood side by side with us as we fought the English back in the day. Matthew, Bulldog Buchanan, Tracebotton. Tracebotton, that's that guy. I like him. Link to donate. Oh yeah, thanks so much. Link to donate. Lol is in the description was his message. Winky Donkey, thanks so much, Winky Donkey. It's been a while since I've seen you on the channel, actually, as it happens. So I guess you've been tuning in to Tracebotton recently. Brave DeLorean Buck, good to see you as well. Amber, thank you so much for that earlier on. Anonymous, thank you so much for that earlier on as well. Apple, thank you so much for that earlier on as well. GME pricing in here, having come in, filled in that gap, giving people that discount for today. Look and see, can we actually maintain things up above the earliers? Now, we know that we did have that consolidation. It was below 236. We saw it coming down. We managed this throughout the thing. We actually measured this in the 1 minute time frame. Talked about the risk of trying to go long, what you'd need to see having happened, how you could do it for little chunks, for little bits and bobs, but eventually we did see that thing crack down a bit, and that's just how that went for us. So we've covered it, we understood it. AMC, as it happens, finishing off on this show, GME is currently at $215. AMC currently at $39.99, deep back into that gap territory it pushed today, from which it left earlier on, from whence it came. Looking back there to 38.85 as the potential area for us to go in and fill in that gap. Could it happen? Yes, it could. These things go. Okay, so what you'll find here on the channel is that I'll talk about things about where the prices are going to go to. And when the prices go to that area, I'm not telling you to sell. And I'm not saying that they're going to that area and that's where I'm selling. That's not what's happening at all. But when I talk about AMC and GME, with the very, and let's face it, precious audience out there that talk about these things, compared to the likes of the cryptocurrency ones and everything else that have got incredibly thick skins, and are very, very used to this whole thing for the last years and years and years. 20k Bitcoin in 2017, 3k in 2018, 60k, Christ. Anyway, so you guys, I'm not telling you to do stuff like that. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving any of that. I'm not instructing anybody. I'm never pushing my own books or any of that sort of stuff. I'm just telling you where everybody else is going to be doing it, right? Everybody else, everyone else, okay? And we see it happening all the time. And the reason why it happens isn't always because some big screwy wooey nefarious event happened. So often it's because many millions of the people that hold these stocks aren't actually diamond handed them. We need to realize that we're on the vanguard of something. Now, of course, we're the ones that, of course, that provide the massive basis for these things to be going up. We are the retail, and people talk about retail buying and holding the thing. They're talking about us specifically. I'm talking about all the other ones that are trading. And what I'm trying to do is I'm showing you through examples of these things how people are doing stuff that may or may not, affect the price movements of these two big squeeze stocks that we hope will have massive effects on the economy to the point that they actually improve the trading conditions for everybody and make the world a better place. That's what we actually hope for these. I know it's fantastic. It's a fantastic idea. It is, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so committed to it, because it is, of course, an opportunity to do something that's good in the world for a change. Now, that's us. And a lot of other people out there are just buying and selling the thing. And they'll be doing it at the times at which I'm pointing out. And that happens. Okay, so we've done that today, but that wasn't any advice for any of you. And I don't really care about their morality or any of that either. Not that even they were who I was talking about. I was talking about very specific people in that instance. Right, cool, excellent. So I've done that, and I've done the donations reverse roll call. So just got the other people that tune in to say hello to. Thank you, Bunsen. Thank you, Homer. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Yonu. Thank you, YB Normal. Are his armpits alive? Yeah. Alive and breathing. Banana Fridge, thank you. Tubes, thank you. Frog Lord, slap the like now, thank you. Torsten, Kim, Kieran, Sky, Ms. A, Eric, Horn Hunter, hey, good to see you. Did you see the full length trailer and all that, pal? Looking forward to it. Can't wait. I talk about it all the time. Christy, good to see you. Sky, Mr. Pickles, number 4, Chippy, Duo Maxwell, Disembodied Remains of Manifest Density, Stephen Kimbler, Koki, Cachito Valador, James, Grace Foundation, Mike Eyre, Sal E. Mander, Dan Dawson, Badass Trader, Brady Pearl. We've got so many. Ryan Stoic, We've got so many fantastic people. Crack Croc, for example, in there. It's a hard one to read out on a live stream. Emo Dog. We've got tons and tons and tons of amazing people in this community. Thank you so much for tuning in again today. I've been Rocky Outcrop. I'll still be Rocky Outcrop when I come back again tomorrow. Hopefully in what is an entirely sustainable positive mood that doesn't ever leach into any area that seems in any way not positive, especially whenever I open up the show talking about black swan events that can happen in a bunch of people's own life. I think I did a pretty good job at staying positive throughout the show today. I think you all did a good job of staying positive throughout the show today, and the whole week, in fact the whole month, for the whole year, look at the prices. Look at this. We came up above $200. We did it. We did that. We pushed up to $250. We did that. We did it. And we've seen the prices drop back down. Give us a few discounts. Sure, we did that. We're the ones here. We are the ones that are having the biggest agency in the world at the minute. The headlines throughout the last year have been about you and I and all of us together as a community. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey. Thank you so much for being positive, and everybody here, the rising tide, lifting each other up, and of course doing all of this together. Let's keep going. Let's always keep going together. I've got your back, you've got my back, and a massive long chain of success on the way towards the top of the mountain. And that's enough analogies for today. I'll see you tomorrow. One last reminder to hit the like button. Just a wee reminder. Like it. Share it with your friends as well. Make a couple of clips. Do any of that stuff. Anybody does any of that stuff, I'll be blown away. Always will be. Anything at all. Honestly, anything. Any clip at all. Anything. Ideally, sent to me so I could put it up on my own YouTube channel. But even if you just upload it to your own one, I swear to goodness, anything at all. Appreciate it. See you next time.